Hello students, have you ever noticed whenever there is a light, someone follows us? Have you ever wondered who is that? Now let's recite a beautiful poem, My Shadow, from your English Marigold book. So now I want you to recite the poem along with me. Students, welcome to my English class. Today we will see a poem, My Shadow, from A Child's Garden of Verses. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow. Not at all like a proper children, which is always very slow. For he sometimes shoots up taller like an India rubber ball, and he sometimes gets so little there is none of him at all. One morning very early, before the sun was up, I rose and found the shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me, and was fast asleep in bed. Describes the excitement of a child who is fascinated by his own shadow. It is written from the perspective of a young child who finds pleasure in the company of his own shadow. The child keeps experimenting to understand the nature of his shadow and is surprised by how it grows tall and small in the same day. He doesn't understand science and is quite excited to observe how his shadow follows him everywhere and does the exactly body movements he does. So he is surprised. The shadow follows him everywhere he goes and does exactly what he does. The child wakes up before sunrise to see if his shadow would follow him. Then when he found that there is no shadow sticking to him from his feet, he realized that his shadow is not only covered but also a lazy head who is sleeping sound in the bed. Students, I hope you enjoyed this poem and I hope you understood it. I want you all to go through this poem line by line and play this video again and again till you recite the poem with the right pronunciation and you understand the poem. Thank you. See you in the next English class. Shadow by R.L. Stevenson. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow. Not at all like a proper children, which is always very slow, for he sometimes shoot up taller like a India rubber ball, and he sometimes goes so little that there is none of it at all. He hasn't got any idea of how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close behind me, he is a coward, you can see. I would think shame to stick to nursery as the shadow sticks to me. One morning, very early, before the sun was up, I rose and found the shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me and was as fast asleep in bed.